Hey everybody, my name is Rydo, and today we're starting Deponia Doomsday? I almost said goodbye, Deponia. The Deponia point-and-click adventure series by Daedalic has left me very confused. A major part of that is the first game was called Deponia, the second game was called Chaos and Deponia, the third game is called Goodbye Deponia, and you would think with a name like that that would be the end of the trilogy, and it certainly seemed like that was supposed to be the end of the trilogy. And so then Daedalic made Deponia the Complete Journey, and then 2 years later in 2016 they made the fourth game in the series, which is what we're playing now. There isn't a fifth game yet, but it is very much confused on Steam because you can still buy Deponia the Complete Journey and buy each one of those individual games if you just wanted to get the achievements twice. Everything is still available for purchase. It's not really merged into anything. I almost would excuse the break between the Complete Journey and this game, Deponia Doomsday, which is, by the way, not being shown on this menu, because I get the feeling that in the 2 years they slightly adjusted their engine and they might be using a slightly different studio programming, because there was a logo at the beginning of this game for some kind of game design studio software, that programming language, middleware, that I did not recognize. We also have some sleaziness here that normally this would have ads, so if we go into the settings and come back here, we'll see if the ads load back up or if they've just crashed completely. There was an ad for a game made by Daedalic, who's published a decent amount of German games, mostly point-and-click adventure games, and there was a couple there. Oddly, if you go into the bonus section and come back out, then it doesn't even show the box, or it didn't before. So apparently the programming on this is pretty bad because it keeps doing something different every time I go somewhere. So we don't get to see the ads. Oh, shame. It's sleazy though, because you've got a box here when it's not loading, and you have ads there when it is loading, and they never go away. If you buy a finished product, it's sleazy if you buy a vacuum cleaner and inside of the vacuum cleaner box there's an advertisement for a mop even. So or I guess it would be more realistic to say if you bought some kind of blender or mixer for a kitchen, and then inside of that box was a catalog for everything else that blender or mixer company makes. That seems like something that realistically would happen. I feel like I'm rambling at this point. Speaking about being all over the place, this is one of the pet peeves that I'm developing quite a few of. This is the default balance for all the audio. Now, outside of the game, I have lowered the volume, but even that was kind of crazy because I only needed to really lower the volume to about 50%, where normally it's 15% is usually what I turn games down to for my recording software. I have no idea why by default it's always so loud, but it's not really a big issue. But if you're gonna do this, if you think voices volumes should be by default at 95% and music should be at 50% and effects volume should be at 70% and cinematic volume should be at 20%, then you should just master all of these to 50% so that everything starts at 50 and you have 50 percentage points to go one way and 50 percentage points to go the other way. Because right now, if I want the cinematic volume to go down, I only have 20 percentage points until it hits 0, and then at 0 it's almost certainly muted. Whereas if I wanted to turn the cinematic volume up, I have 80. That's not really crazy, right? And I think overall volume should start at 50% too, just for the same reason. Because if the game is just not loud enough and you've got everything already maxed out, that's a problem. And generally, when mastering audio, I would want everything normalized to 0 decibels, or maybe -10, maybe -20 decibels. And when you're normalizing the audio like that, that would have almost certainly had these volumes closer to 50% in the first place. And so that's a little bit of a pet peeve. What's more confusing about the release schedule of the Deponia games is not this game, Deponia Doomsday, not the latest game has recently come out for consoles, but the third game in the series, Goodbye Deponia. And so I'm seeing advertisements for a game that came out on PC 3 years ago, or I'm pretty sure. Well, 3 years before this came out, and yeah, and this came out in 2016. So no, that's quite a long time ago. So it's very odd to see a re-release that is not a compilation release coming out on consoles, confusing the issue, while there's this game that that I still haven't played. So I'm trying to wrap up this series, but it's only an almost insignificant spoiler to say that the way these Deponia games end always leave it open for another version, another game, and I imagine that's the same. You can't change your inputs to like a controller, but mouse and keyboard things apparently can maybe be rekeyed. Not that you're really going to need any of that. You start the game, it asks the language, and the text language and the audio language. And so then you get a slightly different menu when you click on that. By default it goes into full screen for me, puts it at the resolution of my monitor at 1080p, has brightness. It's kind of nice to have a brightness setting, particularly in a point-and-click adventure game. It has additional animations and HD cutscenes, which is nice. By default, those subtitles are off, and I'm going to turn them on. And I'm going to leave this achievements notice on, but I think I probably will take it off after I see one, because it's probably going to be annoying. I'm going to leave the tutorial on, because I kind of need... I really don't need a tutorial on point-and-click adventure games. I've played them for years, if not decades now. But I kind of would like to just get my head around the way Deponia puzzles work, because I think they were a little bit more convoluted, complicated. The really, really strange thing, though, is in between playing Deponia The Complete Journey, which is not the complete journey, but the first three games, and getting to this, LucasArts has been bought by Disney. I think that happened in between that time. And because LucasArts has been bought by Disney, all the old point-and-click LucasArts games, like Indiana Jones games, and some of the Monkey Island games that weren't on Steam, they just kind of silently came onto Steam. So it's kind of a hard comparison now. Same would be said for a game series like Broken Sword, which every point-and-click adventure game kind of falls flat in my mind with its comedy and with its puzzle design and gameplay design when compared to the old LucasArts games. So this modern game has a very high standard that it has to be held up to. Alright, that's kind of all the setup. I'm sorry it took so long. I also kind of don't remember where we are in the story. I know in general Deponia is like this trash planet. We're playing, I think, as a character named Rufus. He started on the trash planet. There's like this advanced society that floats above Deponia in the sky, and they kind of want for nothing. There's a slight female interest that shows up in the first game, but then the game really never succeeds at having the female interest being an actual female interest. In fact, she kind of just becomes a damsel in distress many times. There's a bad guy that looks like Rufus that might be a clone or a half-brother. Is there anything else to remember? I don't know. So I'm hoping what we'll do is we'll get a song from this character that's like a hobo at the beginning of the game to just catch me up. So let's begin. Start a new game, unsaved progress will be lost. Well, we haven't made any progress, so let's start. Yeah, we definitely need like
the end was never our creation.
Previously.
It was there all this time. All we did was tempt it. The same way a surfer tempts fate. Or tempts a shark by trying to outswim it. A for effort. We crafted spears against beasts, built walls against spears, ladders against walls, and towers against ladders. After that, we built boats, ramparts, chimneys, shaving foam pie catapults, and when all our trash threatened to swallow even our highest spires, we built a spaceship. Powered by nothing less than the destruction of our own planet. The preparations took decades. What was meant to be an ark became a home. My home. Elysium. None of us ever thought there were thousands of clueless survivors down in that trash. Our bastion of hope became a herald of doom for Deponia. Fortunately, the tables turned. One of those clueless people foiled the plan. He saved Deponia and all who were left behind. And he saved me by falling for me. Literally. The end.
Oh yeah, so...
Oh, you don't like this ending?
So he just
Still
fell.
hoping for something more upbeat? Well, it's like I said. Endings and sharks. Don't tempt them. Though, I gotta admit, even after all this time, I keep asking myself, if I was able to turn back time, what would I change? What would be the better ending? Or do I just want it to never end?
This animation looks, I think, a lot better than previous games. I think their new software probably allowed for more things like that. So yeah, the last game just had the Rufus, the character you were playing as, fall to his doom, I guess.
This place was pure hell. Who am I kidding? Where was it these days? I had to leave old Jeremiah behind. His own damn fault. I have to give it to him. He was as fast as they came at changing a tire. But he was too damn slow at getting me a slushie. At least we shook those ravening fewlocks. I had to hurry.
So let's play the tutorial. So yeah, if I recall correctly now, two key points here. They were going to blow up Deponia, so Elysium, as in the Elysium Fields reference, a paradise, could break orbit of Deponia and continue to fly in the sky. I guess there was a reason for it. It didn't really matter. Nothing super matters on the story. I'm probably over focusing on it. This is a comedy point-and-click adventure game. It's more in the actions and the terrible things you'll end up doing to solve a puzzle that you get your entertainment. And because Daedalic is this German company that is just impossible, self-admittedly, it is impossible for them to have a good ending in any of their games. which is often a bummer because I kind of like their games, but then they just kind of end badly. It's like the grim fairy tales that before Disney made them all have happy endings. There's very little chance that this game will end on a happy note either. But they are kind of addressing it, so maybe they finally learned their lesson. If half of Daedalic's published point-and-click adventures got one more chapter of their gameplay and finished on happier notes, at least people in the Americas, I think, would be happy with it. Maybe Europeans and other countries more to the east don't really mind those types of stories, but people that grew up on Disney, we kind of want a happy ending. Welcome to the tutorial. The tutorial will guide you through the game's controller step by step. Use the buttons in the upper right corner of the screen to display the tutorial message again. Okay. First, use the hotspot key to highlight interesting objects in the scene. This is always very helpful in a point-and-click adventure. If you don't know what to click on or what can be clicked on, you often end up doing pixel hunts looking for things to click on. Press the mouse wheel or the spacebar to highlight objects. Okay, so your cursor is made of 2 gears, a big one and a small one. The big gear indicates left click action, interact. The small gear is the right click action, look. So it doesn't seem like there's too many interaction verbs, just interact in general and look. You should climb down the platform now. Move your cursor over the ladder and left click interact. So you have to hold the middle button. I don't like that. So we have a frozen toolbox, we have the quote Edward Snowman instead of, I guess, Edward Scissorhands, and look. So look at this.
The box with the emergency blowtorch was frozen shut. Pretty damn ironic. The Edward Snowman was no beauty, but it was all I had left.
Almost certainly this is Rufus, and he's just doing this voice because he's being silly. And we can like look at everything. He doesn't use it anyways. See, so that's kind of the comedy. You can now look at objects, just right click, take a look at the Edward Snowman.
The Edward Snowman was no beauty.
I did that already.
That's all I had left.
Not following instructions. By the way, if only one cursor gear is empty, the object doesn't have a corresponding action. So, for instance, clicking here doesn't have a look. Click on the ground to move your character. You can leave a scene using an exit. The scene's exits are at the right edge of this scene's exit is at the right edge of the screen. To leave a screen instantly, just double click. Now go ahead and leave the scene. And I imagine this would be turn off the tutorial. So this doesn't have an interact, and this no longer has an interact or look. And when we middle click, you can see an arrow telling us what to do. Remember, the game said I have to hurry. That's not true in point-and-click adventure games. I don't think we'll be doing a lot of double clicking to fast travel between scenes, but that is a nice feature. Do you see that spray can? You can pick it up and use the item by left clicking it. Interact with the spray can to pick it up. Alright, is it this spray can? What else do we have? We have a doorknob, a bolt, and graffiti. Now, what's funny is all the previous Deponia games had tutorials in the same room over and over again, and you had to like either escape the room or kill yourself in the room. I'm a little surprised they didn't continue that theme with this, but it's kind of nice to see a different tutorial, because that means potentially this is this is a true sequel. That's how they sold it as. This is a sequel to the existing trilogy, not just more of the same, hopefully. Each item you pick up was stored in your inventory. You could access your inventory by pressing I or scrolling the mouse wheel. I won't be using the cursor at all. You can combine items in your inventory using them with each other. Open the inventory and select the spray can and use it on the lighter. So this, before I think there was a inventory handle. So we do this and do this.
Cool.
Nicely done. Now go back to the vehicle.
Some punk had sprayed no hope on the blast tower door. Huh. Tell me something I don't know.
Now this is a German game, so I guess maybe that is the word for no hope in German. Galsil?
Nothing. The Organon had sealed the door to the blast tower. As if to say, if anyone is gonna blow this planet to hell, then it's gonna be us. What a joke.
And the bolts?
The Organon had sealed the door to the blast tower. As if to say, if anyone is gonna blow this planet to hell, then it's gonna be us.
We can
what
see
a joke.
we're already running into a situation where we're running into issues. Okay, so if I come over to this though, if I go to the main menu, I already want to change some settings here. Open inventory by clicking. Let's turn that on. And controls. Let's see. Clicking highlights everything. It doesn't seem like you can change that. There's like a data disk hidden down there. Interesting. Yeah, I would prefer to click to toggle the inventory, which is what that is, and click to toggle the hotspot. But apparently we're not going to get that option. So let's try this now. So yeah, by default this is gone, which I kind of would prefer that to stay where it is, but then it's on the screen, so I guess I'm willing to live with that. And you just have to hold down the middle mouse button to see things. You can't keep it on, at least with the mouse. That kind of sucks. And when you roll down the mouse wheel now, nothing happens. So it's either or, not both. So turn that off. There's a minigame skip button. And I assume if I turned off the hotspot indicator, we're just messing with the settings more than anything right now. Oops. It's very weird that it does that, but okay. In the end, I guess we won't really need to use the hotspot indicator too much. So we can double click to fast travel here. You can also pick up items and use it with other options. Climb the ladder and click on the improvised flamethrower in your inventory. You can return to the scene by moving the item out of the inventory. You can now melt the ice blocking the frozen toolbox by clicking the flamethrower. So we take this, go this way, click it on. I guess I have to walk here first and climb the ladder. I like these extra animations. That's where you can tell they've spent some extra budget and effort to make a point-and-click adventure game work in a modern day. Also, the camera is zoomed in really close. We're not getting little 8-bit pixel characters and backgrounds you can barely see. This is like modern. I want to see the character. I want to see details. I want to see lines and shading, animation styles. In a weird way, Daedalic might be the last company to make quality point-and-click adventures, except for the many indie developers out there that will make one and then kind of disappear and go out of business. Congratulations, you now know enough to play on your own. Whenever there's more to know or new game mechanics are introduced, a new tutorial message will appear on your screen. So, let's see, what does this do? That's that, and that, I guess I'm gonna wait until the scene ends and see if the tutorial stops itself. I could have looked at the blowtorch and I didn't. So I can open the blowtorch, I can close the blowtorch, and then blowtorch. Am I supposed to use it on
I'd already
Edward
wasted years trying to patch things up somehow. What the hell with that?
So yeah, that's not what we're gonna do. Instead, I imagine we're walking down the ladder and back this way, and then we're using the blowtorch on the bolt.
The bolt didn't look like you could saw through it, but I got this far and I was going to finish it to the end.
And whether we have the interact here with just light the blowtorch. You have to just hold down the button. And weld by holding down the button. Seems like I'm about to get attacked. I kind of wonder how much time you actually have to spend or could actually spend welding things in while you're in this weather. This doesn't seem like this is working. It seems like it just hits a certain point and then that's kind of it.
It was easier to cut through the seal than I thought. I almost wished it had taken longer. Now the way is clear. Here goes.
In this scene, you'll see a power bar. Rapidly click to succeed. So, quick time event. I've never seen these creatures before. They're new. And that was the tutorial. Now you know everything you need to know. Enjoy the game. So it goes away by itself. So now we have a pole we can grab to beat this claw. And we are now just tapping like crazy. This is new. This is definitely a new gameplay mechanic. Lock it. Alright, so we need to do this and then take the pole and stick it in the lock.
The view brings the icy breath from my could see everything from up here. The destruction, the hopelessness, and the button that would simultaneously release the bomb clamps in countless blast towers all over Deponia.
So, what can we click on? So this might be, you can see Elysium has crashed.
There it lay in the snow, broken, burnt out, and shattered.
This
Elysium,
might be set in the future point.
Talk about kitsch.
Or this might just, why we would get to this point is the question.
Chill ran down my spine.
Why would we want to blow up
my hood?
Deponia?
The door would hold them off for now.
Seems like there's nothing else to do other than press the button. I can't even look at the button.
Guess that's it. The end of the
frog in my throat. The end of the road for me. Huh? Oh, typical. Even Armageddon is rusted over. Just you wait.
So, we're gonna climb onto the bomb. And click off the cams. Let's see.
Stop that! Stop that! Stop that!
What else can we kick? So you have to kick this off while he's... So kick this guy twice, and then kick this twice.
Stop that!
Apparently we just got an achievement called Soul Music.
Forget it!
Let's see. Take off the clamp. So he's just putting the clamp back on. And I think I'm doing the right thing.
Stop that! Stop
When
that!
this guy is spinning. And there's no way to climb back down.
Stop that! Stop that!
Okay, so now he's got like 3 of them around him. So maybe I have to hit him 3 times. And then I have to kick him again to have more of these platypuses, which are running gag. So I can continue to kick the clamp. Interesting little puzzle there. So far, we haven't really done a lot that has to do with point and click, as much as just little mini games inside a point and click adventure. Well, we made it to the cold open.
You old amorotic pinhead, act like the thing is not dead and didn't run into a brick wall at full tilt already. Let me help you.
Again, this would have been German in its original language. I wish it was.
Taste, but soon you will gaze truth straight in the face. All rivers run eventually to the sea. At this stage, it's evident there will be no happy end. Suck it up, princess. No one cares for your tears. It's over and I've no damns to give for second thoughts that you're stuck with, looking for loopholes and wondering what if.
Kind of feels like they are gonna give you a happy ending because they keep throwing it in your face. It's like, hey players, you didn't like the ending of the third game? You didn't like how we ended the story? Too bad. You're only gonna do that if you're gonna try to subvert that. Huzzah, he's back in Lux. We'll turn off the achievement pop up. Geez, I wonder if this is gonna be like a full reboot.
I had a mustache. All my friends were dead, and Elysium had fallen from the sky. Also, I blew Deponia up. Talk about sick. I mean, a mustache? Really? Luckily, everything's the way it was before. I can hardly wait to tell my sweet Tony about it.
Tony is the female interest that he's in love with, but doesn't go anywhere. What's interesting is the game never really told me that it was going to put a save file message when it's saving. Does this do anything? No. Just a thing there for no reason. So we took a little bit too much time, undoubtedly, to get to this point. Also, let's see, we'll come in here and turn off the achievement notice because I don't care about that. The achievements are Steam related, but then they do a good job, I suppose, of letting you see here's the cutscenes you've unlocked. Apparently there's magazines will unlock for some way, and here's the achievements. So if you wanted to look at this, so yeah, that's it's cool that there's an achievement system where you can look at achievements inside a game in case you run into a case where the Steam wrapper, the Games for Windows Live wrapper, the whatever interface that might be going over your game, popping up achievements is disabled or just stops working in general. That's going to be it for this recording. Going forward, we don't have to do so much setup. We still don't kind of know what's going on, whether this is going to be like a full-on reboot or if this is going to be a continuation. I bet it's a continuation, but that dream tutorial part didn't really happen, or maybe it did, and maybe there will be some time travel. That's going to be it for this recording. At the end, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos because it helps me with YouTube, tells them that my videos are worth watching. When you subscribe, please click the notification bell too. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. There's also a link to Patreon where you can support me that way, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Like, for example, in a weird way, I kind of want to own the other Deponia games, even though I have the complete journey. I want to own them individually, just so I don't accidentally buy them twice. But I guess I'd be buying them twice anyways to do that. So mostly that would just be to try and get all the achievements, and I don't think I'd get all the achievements either. So sometimes I'm a little too flippant on that thought, and I actually don't believe they are on the wish list. That's it for this recording. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.